Ladies, gentlemen, and spambots, welcome to the VGL Podcast. I'm IceBear Judges, and with me today, two very special guests. Introduce yourselves in reverse alphabetical order.
Oh, that's me next. Okay, I'm Maddragon, yeah?
Nope,
Raven.
Reverse alphabetical order. Good job.
Okay, now I read the little, script we got, so I went from the bottom as reverse, so, yeah.
Just, the alphabet. If you use that as your example and sort of work off that.
I know, but it's...
In reverse alphabetical order.
I'm Raven Valor 95.
And I'm Maddragon 249.
Well done, everyone. We got through it. Now, to shake things up a little, I thought we could discuss a game that we've played recently.
Jesus Christ, you're a madman.
And this time, no, we really are shaking things up. We're going to do it in reverse alphabetical order, which means that Raven, you take the lead.
Okay. I've been playing The Legend of Korra by Platinum Games. I've just, as early as a few hours ago, just 100%ed it, actually. I did an entire review on it, and I like it. I like it a lot. The combat system is really good, has a lot of depth to it. It's kind of repetitive, but the art style, the voice acting, the music, all that's fine. And, yeah, it's really good. Put about 12.4 hours into it. Beat it twice. Once on normal difficulty and once on extreme. And the game is way better on extreme difficulty.
Okay. So is it quite easy otherwise then?
No, so the first time through, as you play the game, you slowly get drip-fed your avatar abilities. So you get water, then it's earth, then fire, and then last it's air. And then on your second playthrough, you have all of those abilities from the start, and you can experiment a lot more, and it's basically just like the real game begins in the second half. Or in the second playthrough, rather.
Right. So you enjoyed it? It was good? It was bad?
Yeah.
It was
good.
I've seen your review, so how about that soundtrack kind of thing? I guess I could ask leading questions.
Well, it's just... It's a real shame that Maddragon, you played Anarchy Reigns, right?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Okay, so that game is kind of meh, but the soundtrack is fucking godlike.
Yeah,
so
it
even
is
when
pretty
Platinum
good.
releases a bad game or a meh game, their soundtrack can always be, depended on to be good. And so it's a bit disappointing that all the music in this game is reused from the TV show, which helps to make it feel more like it's, in the TV show universe, but I miss Platinum's music.
Well, the thing is, though, I mean...
Rose of Nature!
Yeah, they should have just put that in. But then again, it is a licensed game, isn't it? So
Yeah,
there's
it's only
limitations
$15
to
and
it.
it's Activision.
I guess you're saving money by using the official soundtrack.
Yeah.
Well,
they must have saved a hell of a lot of money since it is a budget title. It's like a downloadable title, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
it's
$15
really
or whatever,
cheap. Yeah, $15. And
when did that release?
A few days ago.
Oh, okay.
October 23rd, I think, or something like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so for what it is, it's really good. It actually reminds me a lot of Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. And one thing this game actually has over Metal Gear Rising Revengeance is the ability to quick swap between different items on the fly. So you know how in Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, when you want to swap your...
Hello?
And continue playing?
Yeah.
I think we all just
Korra,
died.
What?
Yeah,
it just
when
me
you
then?
you started it when you wanted to swap your, and then I didn't hear a thing. I'm sorry.
Oh, so I'll try again. So in in Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, when you want to swap your sub weapon, you have to stop what you're doing, enter the item menu, and then swap it, and then continue playing from there. There's no on-the-fly swapping. But in Korra, you can swap between all your avatar abilities on the fly. So that's really cool. And each of your avatar abilities have their own unique moveset. So swapping between air, water, fire, earth, all with a simple press of the button is super cool. So it's got more depth to it than Metal Gear Rising, it seems. So
Yeah,
I'd love
it
to
seems
see
like that kind of flexibility
love
would
to
get
see
the
it
most out of the
expanded
premise
upon.
of it, of the
Yeah.
element bending and whatnot.
yeah, they've definitely done like an amazing job at really just exploring it and finding out all these interesting ways to mess around with it. Because not only do they have like air attacks and ground attacks, they've also got different sorts of charge attacks and different time charged attacks. So if you hold down the charge button, you can release a bigger and badder attack, and if you time it perfectly, you'll deal even more damage. So it's just there's actually quite a lot of mechanics to play around with. It's quite fun.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yep.
Anything further you'd like to add? I mean, neither of us have played it, unless Maddragon. Maddragon, you haven't? No.
I've watched Raven's review, but that's it. That's all
me too.
I've seen of the game. Which, by the way,
Review is really great.
really good.
Terrific.
I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
For any further views on that, I guess people can always turn to that if they feel as though. Shut
up. That's my shout out for this podcast.
Forget everything. Don't you dare watch it. Don't you dare.
Yeah, there you go.
Just Alt F4 right. Now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm done.
Yeah. Stop listening to anything that we're doing at all.
Yeah.
Moving on to Maddragon now. Maddragon, what have you played recently that you would like to discuss?
Quite a few things.
The WiiU.
The WiiU, yes.
How'd that download go for the first time installation?
A lot more difficult than the first time I owned a Wii U. Because, when... Not long after the Wii U came out, I think. I did buy one, last year. Specifically for Monster Hunter, but then a couple months later, there wasn't as many games out as there is today for it. So I ended up getting rid of it, because I was only using it for Monster Hunter, basically. Which I've got on 3DS anyway, so sold it and put it towards a PS4. Bought one, a couple days ago, and the download for the initial update had a lot more trouble for it. I had to try it 3 times because it kept either losing connection or just failing for some reason. So after that, though, it's been good. Bought it bought it again specifically for Bayonetta, which is amazing. Played a little bit of that. Not too much of number 2. Only the first
Don't
level
spoil
of it.
anything.
I haven't spoiled anything, no.
There's a Bayonetta 2. Spoilers, everyone.
God damn it, Maddragon, how could you?
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. But yeah, Bayonetta 1 is good on that as well. It's supposedly...
Have you tried out any of the alternate costumes, or do you have to unlock those?
In Bayonetta 1, from the get-go, you've got the Samus costume, the Peach costume, and was it the Daisy costume, is it?
Daisy, yeah.
Which I think is basically the same as Peach.
It's just recolored.
Yeah. There is no Link costume as far as I'm aware, though, in number 1. It's only number 2, I think.
No, Link is in the first one. You just have...
Is it?
I remember it being demoed. The Star Fox is in number 2.
Oh, yeah, there's Link. I'm thinking of Star Fox, yeah. Link is in number 1, yeah. Star Fox is the only one that's in number 2, for whatever reason.
As far as you're aware.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware. Is there other unlockable costumes for that as well?
In
in
Bayonetta
the game? Yeah, in Bayonetta
2?
1 and 2. Both games,
Yeah, there's tons of unlockable costumes. There's a PE costume, there's her original Umbra and witch outfit, there's all sorts. Lots of ones that I can't be bothered to list off. I wish Vertigo was here. He 100%ed it. He could tell you more.
Yeah. I know. The one time we're discussing Bayonetta that isn't E3, and
damn.
Vertigo isn't here.
Next thing you know, we'll mention Dark Souls, and we won't even have him around.
I know. What a shame.
We'll start discussing Dark Souls, and both Maddragon and Vertigo will be gone.
So yeah, I mean, Bayonetta. I also got Mario Kart 8 with it, which is really fun. Playing that online is really fun,
I wish there were more. I wish there was more content to it, though. Specifically, a battle mode.
Yeah, I know the battle mode of watching reviews and stuff, and that's one of the main complaints because it's not arena-based levels. It's
just the large map.
Yeah, it's just the normal race tracks, which is a bit crappy.
I don't want to play Toad's Turnpike in battle mode. Fuck that.
What else have I got? I got Hyrule Warriors.
Oh, no, I'm getting that later today. I literally am getting that today.
Oh, it's so fun. It is so fun. If you've ever played the Dynasty Warriors game,
I haven't.
Samurai Warriors or anything,
I haven't.
It's like that, but it's got all the quality and charm of a Zelda game, all over it, and it's it's so good.
To be honest, this is actually, if I do end up enjoying Hyrule Warriors, which I think I will, I'm probably going to purchase Samurai Warriors 4 on the PS4.
Yeah, that looks good.
I kind of wish we'd given more time to covering Hyrule Warriors in previous podcasts. It's sort of snuck up on all of us, and
it has. Like we don't even know who's in there.
Yeah, I was going to say what I want to know is what kind of characters are in the game. Really, Maddragon?
Zelda characters.
Zelda characters.
Well,
thank you.
And there's the one that looks like it's from Final Fantasy. I forget her name.
Oh,
and there's the big
which one
breasted lady.
Oh yeah, her.
Sia?
Yeah, Sia. Yeah, Sia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you remember her.
Yeah, I do. Well, she's the main villain, as far as I'm aware.
Spoilers.
Yeah, it's one of the villains, I think. Where else am I talking about? What other Wii U games have I got? I got Wind Waker HD and Monster Hunter on the way as well. I couldn't resist those. Overall, though, been really good with it.
Yeah, sounds like a busy week in gaming for you, Maddragon.
My least
Would
favorite
you
part
recommend...
of the Wii U is the Wii U.
You what?
My least favorite part of the Wii. Oh, what do you think of the gamepad?
It's really good. I love
Really?
the gamepad. Yeah,
I'm not.
since I got the Wii U again, it's like I've remembered how much I actually like the console. You know, the gamepad, the like visual design of the console, the interface.
I actually prefer the Pro controller.
The Pro controller is really good. It's like one of the best controllers I've had.
I think it's definitely up there. I've got like number 1 PS4 controller, number 2 Wii U
definitely.
Pro controller, number 3 tie between PS2 and PS3.
PS2. Well, PS2 and PS3.
No love for the
basically,
original Xbox controller.
No,
is
not a
that
fan of the Duke.
the big fat Duke one or the S one?
That's the one that you needed like 4 hands for, yes.
Yeah.
I've actually got one of those in my drawer, and I actually
For a paperweight or just...
No, it is actually for the console.
I mean, that seems like
an
a waste
Xbox
of a
original.
drawer, really, because presumably there's nothing else that can go in there.
I didn't think about it. Like I bought an Xbox original quite a few months back, and I was like,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
like for like 20-25 quid on Amazon.
Right.
Used
Well,
and stuff.
that is pretty good.
And it's like, oh shit, I didn't think whether it comes with the nice S controller or the original one. Turned out it came with the crappy original one, so I had to buy like a PS2 adapter, and you know.
I think if you have
problems with it.
a hard drive, like the additional hard drive or something like that, you can play original Xbox games on the 360, but...
Yeah, but it's very limited amount of selection, like.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why
I
I
never really
bought
got
the
around to
original.
it. Alright. Yeah, well, I guess that's fair enough. There were some decent games on the original one.
Yeah. I've actually got like.
Yeah. I wish the original Xbox was
Perfect.
emulatable. It's amazing that it isn't.
You'd think it would be, since it's, you know, it's basically
It's
just
so
like
old.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got practically perfectly emulated Wii and GameCube and PS2. Like, why not the original Xbox? I want to play some Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
I mean, it is like basically just a PC in a box as well, isn't it? From like
Yeah.
the tech standpoints of it, like. It would be easy to emulate that compared to like a PS2, surely.
Apparently not. Because the PS2 is practically done. Or maybe it's just a lack of interest.
Who do you think made it, Maddragon? Microsoft?
I know, I mean.
IceBear, do you think we should?
Yeah, I
move
guess it is my turn.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played a few different games this week, but I guess the only one that's really contending for a mention is TinyKeep, which is a game created by. Here's the thing: it's spelled PHI, and it's the lead developer's name. And as much as I have actually met him, sort of. I don't know if it's pronounced Phi or Phi. So I'm going to say Phi Games.
I'm going to call it Pi.
I'm going to say Phi Games, PHI, Phi Games. Published by Digital Tribe, which is why I happen to get a review copy, because they always seem to give me review codes.
They love you.
Yeah, they love me, which is weird, because
You don't love
them.
them.
Well, Digital Tribe publish all kinds of things. They have their fingers in many a pie. But usually they're not that great. But this I actually anticipated, because I'd seen it at Rezzed and thoroughly enjoyed. Really, I'm gonna do a review on it at some point. That should be up in a few days, actually. I'll get to writing that. It is a roguelike. Fortunately, I don't have Vertigo on hand to groan at that, but...
I'll groan instead.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm not... There you go. And I'm not a particular fan of roguelikes. Well, I don't really like them at all. Like, I don't like the idea much at all, because I prefer to have a narrative, or at least just like some way of measuring my progression other than, I got further that time before I died and had to start all over again. But the gameplay really kind of makes it. It's pretty basic. Like the first level, and this used to be the core focus of the game, but the design has changed somewhat since it was in its sort of prototype stage at Res. But the very first level, your goal is to find a sword and a shield so that you can actually just make your way through. And it's basically it's just like it's a fairly small sized dungeon crawler, so you got about 9 levels to get through. And every time the main objective is to get to the exit, but also you want to be, taking out enemies and stuff. And there's different ways that you have to accomplish getting to the end of a level. And by killing enemies, you earn these coins, which you spend on upgrades, and they become quite essential, really, later on. And it is also, I believe, randomly generated. So, different dungeon each time. And although it took me a while to beat it the first time round, so it did kind of go through that typical roguelike stage of, I've got even further this time, so it's an even bigger pain in the ass to try again. It's something that you can master fairly quickly, and I've beaten it probably after 6 hours. I played it for 7. I tried to see if New Game Plus was any good, but it isn't. So on the one hand, the gameplay really works really smoothly. The AI is good. The camera works really well. The character models and artwork are quite original, and although it can be annoying at times, I quite like the physics, and I quite like the emphasis on having to keep moving. Really, even though there's not like things there's not necessarily like you won't necessarily die if you stand still. Like quite a lot of the combat is focused on running away. But it's kind of like a Benny Hill kind of thing.
Is there like a Spelunky ghost where if you stay in a level too long, it'll start chasing you?
No, you can stay there as long as you like.
Thank God, I hate
I know.
Ghost in Spelunky.
Yeah, I hate that ghost too. No, it actually doesn't mind you playing the game. It's not about you can tackle it however you want to. By the time you get pretty skilled, I mean, you can beat the game. I did it my run was about 45 minutes, which is probably pretty average. Like you can get through. Once you get better at levels, you can get through them like a few minutes at a time. Really, then
does it have like a timer on it, or like any sort of?
It has an in-game clock just to let it doesn't. Well, this is the thing. It has an in-game clock that measures how long each level takes you, and it adds to a total clock of how long it's taking you to beat the game. But there's no real social element or anything. Nothing that you will be able to compare it to, which is where I think it kind of falls short a little bit, because for a roguelike, it's not got a great lifespan. Like I've played it 7 hours, and I'm more or less, there's like a couple of different endings to the game that you can get, and one of them requires a significantly larger amount of playtime, and I haven't gotten that ending yet, but I have gotten one. And then all the other like achievements and things that it rewards you for are basically like Iron Man challenges, which are more or less impossible. Like half the achievements for this game have a 0.1% global accomplishment rate.
I'm surprised it doesn't have like what Spelunky has with like the daily time trials. Or
This is what
like
I'm saying. It's where it falls short. Like if I could compare it to how my friends do or something, I would play this game quite regularly because it's not nearly as frustrating as Spelunky. You don't need to invest nearly as much time in it, and it is genuinely fun. Like, the gameplay doesn't feel so stilted, and it's not like every obstacle feels as though it has to be completely planned around. It's a sort of on the fly kind of thing, but you can get a knack for things, and you know how to beat certain levels, and the way it sort of has this balance of time versus reward kind of thing. It seems as though it's done everything it needs to set up a system like that, where it encourages people to sort of do it as a social thing. Because it's, the core gameplay and everything's really good, but, I mean, there's a little bit of it. There's a tiny wee smidgen of a story to it, which incidentally features a voice actress who sounds an awful lot like Merida from Braid, but apparently isn't. But beyond that, there's not an awful lot to keep you playing after you've beaten it. Like, New Game Plus is the original game, but there are no health items around. And also you don't regenerate health between levels, which is almost impossible, basically. Like, that's super, super difficult. Which is why, approximately 1 in 1,000 players has managed that.
Yeah. So it just seems a little short-sighted, and I don't know if that's the correct term, but like, is there like no real like longevity sort of like ways to keep there's no ways to keep the community active? Like, there's no
real community aspect.
Is there like a creator level section to it? Has it got like Steamworks integration?
I don't think so. I mean, it's got.
Okay.
Let's have a look at the community hub here. I think it's mostly just walkthroughs and whatnot. And
check the artwork section. That's my favorite.
Yeah, just people's screenshots and. Oh yeah. Also, you can't save and quit, which is kind of annoying. I've forgotten about that, but yeah. No, it's just mostly people, having occasional input and whatnot. Let's click on artwork. Yeah, there's no content in the artwork session at all. So
yeah, that seems like it'll be dead in a short time.
It misses a trick, really. Yeah, I know. It's a shame as well, because it's one of my favorite roguelikes that I've ever played, and I've sort of reluctantly played a fair few. I don't know how that happened, but it has. I think it's a lot better than Rogue Legacy, because that is based so much on grinding, whereas this is, I guess there's a degree of it, because, you're probably better off killing a certain number of enemies to get, a certain amount of money, but they throw them in such a number, and the combat is becomes so fast paced and, genuinely enjoyable, that it's not like a chore or anything. And you can, I died maybe 10 times before I beat the game. So I had 10 unsuccessful runs, and then I got the easiest ending. The harder one requires you to go through more levels and then a boss fight, but you can finish earlier. And yeah, it does seem kind of weird that it's. I mean, you get. I think it's a fairly reasonable price. Like, you're getting your money's worth, but they could really. I feel as though it could have been more successful. $10.99, okay. Which is a little hype for 7 hours of gameplay, but no. On reflection, that's fair. I would say that's fair.
That is actually pretty fair. I paid $15 for Bayonetta. Oh, sorry, not Bayonetta. Fuck, Legend of Korra, and that gave me 12.4 hours after 100%ing it. That seems fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can play it a lot more if you want to get really, really good at it.
I imagine if you get all those achievements, you'll have way more, like 700 hours.
But yeah, no, it's it's a roguelike, but it's fairly casual. It's not one of those things where you have to be streaming it on Twitch for 300 hours of your life before you do something worthy of note in your own opinion. You can beat it after a decent amount of time, and you can carry on playing it if you want to. It's a good game. I like it.
Yeah.
Well done, Digital Tribe. I knew you'd do it eventually. No, I'm sure they've published games before that I thought were okay. I can't remember what they published, but anyway. I think that brings us on to the news. Oh, I thought we were going to head into the Mario thing where he picks up a star and it's like. Anyway, so top story here.
Oh, sorry.
Well, yeah, we got to get serious now.
I was doing 3D Land.
I'll read this out as it's written. Paranautical activity gets removed from Steam after developer Mike Molbeck tweets, "I am going to kill Gabe Newell, he is going to die." The events that happened before the death threat were essentially
that's not relevant.
Oh, okay. Well, it is relevant, but we'll discuss it afterwards. But admittedly, well, yeah. When reached out to by Polygon, asking if he has gotten in contact, Mike Molbeck replied, "I have since obviously replied to them saying that I didn't mean what I said and pleaded that they consider the monopoly they have on the PC market before totally writing us off."
You cut out for me. Can you?
You cut out for me. Wait for the whole of the statement. Okay, that's a little weird. This must be server-side issues, but anyway, I have since obviously replied to them saying that I didn't mean what I said, and pleaded that they consider the monopoly they have on the PC market before totally writing us off. But let's be real, if they took the game off the store, they're fucking sure about their decision. There's probably nothing to be done. So that was his statement to Polygon following the removal of paranautical activity from Steam. It has since also been removed from the Humble store. Is that confirmed?
No,
really?
It's still up there.
Oh, but the Steam keys have been removed?
Okay.
I believe you mentioned that the Humble store
check
page was taken down, but okay. Well, it's a minor detail, but thoughts? Maddragon, do you want to start us off while Raven's checking that?
When did this happen? A few days ago, wasn't it? All the last week, and I was seeing people commenting about stuff in my timeline about it, and I'm like,
it's gone.
I didn't know like what game, had been removed and what had happened, and then I found out that paranormal activity and read all about what happened and why it was removed, and it's like, on the one hand, I can see why Steam would do it because it's like, what he said and stuff like that is,
I love how Valve responded to it.
Yeah, I noticed that as well when I was reading it.
They threatened to kill one of our employees. They didn't say like our CEO or anything like that. I thought that was kind of neat.
It's not just like, anybody. It's like Gabe Newell was like the head guy there, and it's like just one of the employees,
Well, to be fair, I think Valve were on point with that, and then if you threaten any member of Valve, the outcome will be the same, as it should be, because that's how the employee should be considered.
Definitely.
So, I mean, does anyone think that that this punishment goes too far?
I don't know.
On the one hand, it does. You can see both sides of it. Like, it does seem like a bit overkill to like remove the entire game from Steam, and there we go. You cannot like do any business with us again. But then again, it's like saying something like that on Twitter, like, something,
it was really just immature.
Yeah,
especially.
I think it's best put in the context of like,
Well,
yeah, but
who the guy is.
No, you are right. Yeah, it was. But to put it into context, if any kind of business that does trade with another business,
ever said he wants to kill him. Yeah.
It's unprofessional conduct in any line of industry, and this kind of severance, I guess, is not something that could really be considered unreasonable, like a disproportional reaction to what's happened. If any kind of thing. But the reason why I guess it's getting a lot of attention is obviously because Steam have pretty much almost total dominance of the PC market. Let's be fair. They have pretty much. I agree that it's not.
I mean,
total.
that's the Pirate Bay.
Yeah. Okay. There's the Pirate Bay.
But, yeah, it's like if I'm buying a PC game, first place I go is Steam. I mean.
Right.
The only time I actually buy a PC game that's not on, that isn't on Steam is if it's like on GOG for like an old game.
What about like Blizzard games?
Well, that's an exception because that's the only place you can get them in it. So, but it's like
besides dedicated APIs, it is generally Steam.
Yeah. So unless you're like League of Legends or Minecraft and stuff like that.
To lend it some context, it does have the events that happened before the death threat here, which is, I know them off by heart. His game was, the Paranormal Activity left early access and became a full release on Steam, which grants it a feature page on the Steam store, at which point it was given the wrong image and misadvertised as an early access game still.
No, it had the right image.
It had the right image?
Oh wow! Yeah, it was just the text.
I thought that was like an early access image.
Now available as early access, and it was the as early access bit that caused the events to unfold.
Well, Mike Morbeck's attitude here kind of caused the events to unfold.
Well, yeah, but
anybody's there's so many different stories about how his appalling attitude has, alienated other developers and customers and people in general. This isn't like an isolated incident of an unwarranted aggressive outburst, but it is the first one that's deservedly met with retribution. But I guess the real talking point, because I don't see a way that it's not fair for Steam to remove paranormal activity provided that he's a part of the company, because it's completely unprofessional, and much as he quite often likes to act the victim on his Twitter page, he was in the wrong here 100%, and Steam have every right to do what they've done. The real talking point now is whether or not, now that Morbeck has subsequently resigned from Code Avarice, whether paranormal activity should be granted a place on Steam. And I guess ultimately that's completely at Steam's discretion. But do you feel as though, just open discussion, that it's sort of deserving of its place on Steam again now that Morbeck's stepped down from the company and supposedly doesn't stand to make any money from future sales of the game?
I'm super biased, but I don't think it should. I think the guy's a bit of a jerk, and just for that point, I don't think it should come back. The
other guy on their team is also a massive jerk, but technically has done nothing that would warrant that kind of severance on his own behalf. He is suffering as a result of Morbeck's actions. There's no question.
That's very
there.
True. Yeah.
From that standpoint, you can see
is it just 2 people that make up Code Avarice?
Yeah, it's just 2. It's just him. It's just Spooder or Mike, and then
Basilica or
the other guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we just quickly, real quick? I just want to say how poorly timed, his last name on Twitter was. Mike
Murderbeck, because it's a Halloween thing. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, damn, that was so poorly timed.
One thing after another.
You were saying something. Sorry.
About it being on Steam or not? Or it's
yes, basically.
On the one hand, you can see it both ways. But it's for the other guy's sake, it could, I reckon it should be, because it's it wasn't his actions that have done it, but now he's suffering the consequences of, Spooder's, Mike Morbeck's, actions now, isn't he?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I guess
you can see it both ways.
Yeah, no, I can totally see it both ways. I mean, it's you can kind of understand, particularly the anguish on the part of the other developer, because Paranormal Activity has had difficulties with the Steam system in the past, when it got a publisher.
Adult Swim Games.
Yeah, Adult Swim Games. It wasn't allowed immediately onto Steam. Was the thing? Well, it was removed from Greenlight. Is that right?
Because it was on Greenlight, it wasn't allowed to get onto Steam. It stayed on Greenlight.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Which was kind of a new precedent at the time. And I guess could be argued that it was Valve rather, kind of making things up as they went along, which has seemed to be largely the case with the Greenlight process. But as we say, it's just kind of
which
unprecedented.
Seems to be fading away. Actually, they haven't announced a new. This is a bit off topic, but they haven't announced any new newly released batches, and games that do get greenlit just sort of release onto the store without any whoa, it's been greenlit. Here's all the games that've been greenlit. So it's
I'm not sure whether or not they're sticking with that model or not. Yeah, they might be moving on to other things, but that's a different discussion for a different time, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the difficulty it's had in getting onto Steam. It has been on early access for some time. At one point, there was a kind of a bit of an outrage at the fact that multiplayer was when it was found out that multiplayer was not going to be a feature of Paranormal Activity. Following a 6-month silence on the game, I guess, from the developers.
Yeah, and on the Steam store page, it said that co-op would be coming, and they said that they also knew basically a month in that it wouldn't be happening, but they didn't update the Steam store page to reflect
and
that.
Also on the release
still advertising
on a post on the Code Avarice website, similarly, multiplayer was, and I quote, definitely a thing that's happening. So.
At that time,
they knew that there was some pretty toxic input from both developers about how they never promised it, and how certainly they received a lot of flack for it that was undeserved, like they were abandoning the game and whatnot, which was untrue, because they were releasing it with a couple more updates, just without multiplayer. But similarly, it would have been so much easier for the developers to just say, we're sorry, we really dropped the ball on the multiplayer. We did promise that would happen because it's written in 2 separate places. that, we promised this, and it was, so many copies were sold on the premise of this, but it's not a thing that's accomplishable. We can't manage it, which is fair enough. They're a 2-man development team. It's an indie game. If they can't put multiplayer in it, then fine. It was probably a bad idea to begin with, but they didn't know that because they were just getting into it. It's an honest mistake.
Yeah,
and if they treated it as such, if they'd responded to it, honestly and earnestly and without being so malicious in what they posted, then they probably have generated a great deal more sympathy than they did. But it's kind of this sort of reciprocating thing of like a victim complex coupled with not really caring about the consumers or anyone else, that's kind of led them to the point where they're just openly abusing people. And finally there's been backlash, and it's kind of debatable whether or not he's actually repentant about it, or if he just feels as though he's the victim once again. But you were going to say something, Raven, sorry.
Yeah, they really, I know like hindsight is 2020, but they really shouldn't have even advertised the fact that there was going to be multiplayer in there in the first place, because they ran a Kickstarter to like raise funds so that they could continue developing it, and one of the stretch goals was to have multiplayer, but they didn't reach that. So the fact that they ended up promising that it was going to be in there was just stupid.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a poor decision, and that's the thing, I think, is the fact that they've been unable to account for their poor decisions in a professional manner at any given stage. Yeah. There is a petition, actually, to get Paranautical Activity back on Steam. I believe it's looking for about 1,000 signatures at present. It's about 550, 560. If fans of the game want that game back on Steam, then I don't see why not, because there's no reason why they should suffer as a result of this. And if Molbeck's no longer part of the company, there's no reason why...
Well, the fans aren't really suffering. Well, I mean, they sort of are,
Well, I mean,
guess,
video gaming in general isn't suffering because it's garbage. It's a,
but I mean,
it's
like,
a voxel-based
like
roguelike released at the time when voxel-based games and roguelikes were popular. Let's face it, it's largely popular from the fact that it managed to, jump on 2 separate bandwagons at the same time. Like, design-wise, it's no loss to the gaming community, but but I can see why fans of the game would be disappointed that this has happened. Although they still have access to it. But there might have been some who were holding off purchasing it until it fully released, which happened to be the day it was removed from the Steam store, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. It's just so much bad luck with that, Like, a bad turn of events.
I don't know if it was bad luck.
Bad luck for the consumers. Bad luck for the customers.
That you're going to kill them.
Yeah, no bad luck on Molbeck's part. That's just him finally learning that there's consequences to him behaving in a toxic manner to, generally people in the industry and consumers and
if he hadn't done the death threat, like, they would have been fine with it.
He called Valve staff incompetent and stuff like that, but they drew the line.
Yeah, they were fine about that. It was just
the
death threat across the line.
The thing is, though, it's such a small thing to flip over, like... I mean, I can understand why he was like sort of like a little bit pissed off with it, because it may have affected sales and stuff of it. If it was being described as early access.
I thought you meant the death threat. I was going to say like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No. But then he went a little bit overboard by doing all this death threat
completely overboard. Yeah.
Over like just a few
That's
little
the
bits
thing.
of text,
if you're gonna work in a professional relationship with Steam, then what's more likely to get you what you want? What's more likely to solve the problem? A rational discussion with Valve staff or a death threat against Gabe Newell. I mean, the latter will get action. It's just not going to be desirable, and that's obvious.
So the Guncraft
what
developers...
I find slightly... Oh, yeah.
The Guncraft developers suffered from the same thing that Spooder did as well. Like, when their game released, it was misadvertised as being in early access. And so what they did was they emailed their Steam contact. They said there's been a mistake and stuff like that. And they responded very quickly. They said they fixed it. And as a way to make up, they will be giving them even more advertisement time than they would have originally gotten. So... That's what could have happened if Mike Molbeck hadn't said, "I'm going to kill Game Newell. He is going to die."
And also, the Guncraft developer had suffered a fair amount of abuse at the hands of the Paranormal Activity devs, I believe. Is that the same person? Yeah. So it's kind of ironic that it ended up being the same thing there. What I find particularly questionable, though, is the fact that certain people have gone on to defend Molbeck's actions, saying that it's totally different from some other death threats that people have been receiving. And while they haven't been as descriptive or graphic or even likely as, death threats that have been sent to, say, Anita Sarkeesian or someone like that. You draw the line at death threat.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
The thing is,
that point, it doesn't matter. You treat them
internet.
the same because there should be a zero a zero tolerance policies in general aren't that good an idea because
But come on, he was
inflexible
just
rules.
kidding. I mean,
Yeah.
what doesn't sound joking about this? Like, I'm going to kill Gabriel. He's gonna die. Like, oh,
cue
But then
laugh.
they have-
Exactly. Yeah.
The thing is, this is on the internet where it's just words typed out, just like any of the other death threats that...
Well, that's the thing, though.
Things
But the people who seem
Even
to be
with-
apologizing
exactly.
for it think as though there has to be some kind of oh yeah, he sent a death threat, but he didn't mean it. He wasn't actually going to kill him.
It doesn't
Well, that's
really-
not
it's-
still not
it's-
all right.
yeah.
That's still not at all all right.
even said in a sarcastic tone, I still think the way he wrote it is too far. I am going to kill Gabe Newell.
Well, it's not like he's
going
even.
to die.
It's not like he even
that's
knows
still,
Gabe
what the
Newell
fuck,
at
mate?
all, is it? If he'd tweeted it to a friend of his and his game had been removed from Steam, then sure, there's probably reasonable cause for complaint there. But it's not a person he knows. It's not like a friendly sort of I'm gonna kill you, Gabe Newell. It's it's pretty solidly threatening language, and if people weren't held to account for saying that sort of thing, then the community would be even more toxic than it already is in places.
Yeah.
So, I don't think
Death threats
people
are bad no matter what.
don't apologize for that kind of behavior just because you happen to have a relationship with that, like a personal, his friends I'm specifically talking about. His girlfriend had actually received harassment, and I think that's also extremely unfair. That's totally out of
Got
order
nothing
as well.
to do with it,
Yeah, but
Apparently,
I meant
people are also
actually
sending
friends.
death threats to him as well, I'm
also
going to kill
completely,
you. How you like that? I don't
obviously,
think
so
that's okay
clearly
either.
hypocritical, and yeah, he does. He has received. I mean, it's not like a situation where this honest, innocent person has been turned cynical by unwarranted, by streams of unfriendly messages. He's been pretty toxic towards other people for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah.
But that kind of behavior on either side of any argument is completely unacceptable, and anybody who stands up for that kind of behavior should really reconsider that kind of position, because whether or not it was intended as a direct threat, it's not the intent that's behind it, it's the message itself. You can't
Isn't it
possibly excuse that kind of
anti-bullying
behavior.
month?
Possibly, but look, nobody's really taking that into account, are they? Death threats, but not an anti-bullying month. God, that was the final straw, was that it was anti-bullying month. But no, obviously inexcusable, and certainly, the punishment that Morbeck has received is fair. But I can see why the remaining one member of Code Avarice wants to get Paranormal Activity back on Steam, and if they do, then fair play. But I guess ultimately it's at Valve's discretion, and if they don't want to work with them because of that, well,
It's
they can
fairly
afford not to,
understandable.
and they've got no reason to do it, I guess. Unless they, go through the green light process again, but I don't know how that would work. Anyway, I think we've spent enough time on this topic. Let's move on to the next one, which is Games for Windows Live, and it's a much lighter note, I should mention. Games for Windows Live prepares to die as Dark Souls Prepared to Die transfers over to Steamworks, and that is not
About
my
time.
joke. It's not even Raven's joke, and to be honest, even though it was in a PC Gamer article in May, I don't think it was their joke either.
It's a pretty cliche thing.
Yes, but Games for Windows Live is finally going, possibly, hopefully, please.
So good.
Yeah. So Steamworks in Dark Souls. So this gives us a rare opportunity to converse about Dark Souls. How does everyone feel?
It's good. It's good.
Yeah. Yep.
What is going to
able
be
play
different
online.
exactly? Is it just going to be...
Well, it's already got Steam achievements.
Right, it's already got Steam achievements.
Yes.
They
It's just
don't trigger
online...
yet.
Online, play, is it? I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's just
yeah,
those
I
Steam
would guess
achievements
so.
haven't been fully implemented yet. So you can't unlock them. As far as I'm aware, they're all at 0% worldwide. But the main thing that's going to change is just you won't need to log into Games for Windows Live, which makes the game a million times better. Because
See-
fuck Games for Windows Live.
I've
Yeah.
I know you
never
haven't
had
had
a
troubles
problem
with it, but I hate
but
it.
it's-
So it could go die in a hole.
So is the migration complete? Is it completely
No.
devoid of...
No.
Oh, no, it's not. So it's
Not
not been
complete.
fully purged
It's
yet.
migrated.
Okay, in the process. Well, I guess we can look forward to that in the coming weeks, probably weeks. It's kind of like defumigating a house or something, you know. Getting rid of
Yeah,
games for Windows Live.
everyone who has purchased like the physical copy and got a Games Windows Live key, they can redeem that on Steam as usual and get a Steam copy instead.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but hang on, I got the physical copy and it redeemed on Steam anyway, so...
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, you've been able to do that for a while.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean it was like a Steam key in the box.
Oh, okay. Well,
So-
the general gist is that it's good news for Dark Souls. Well, people who like games that aren't sullied
Dark Souls
by
is better.
awful DRM.
It's just Dark Souls getting better.
Yeah,
There's nothing to
basically.
like.
Dark
Nothing to
Souls is
dislike.
even better than it was. And think about it, actually, the graphical mods, which it so sorely needs, are going to be hopefully available by Workshop.
That
would be
if
great.
they implement that.
But the thing
If they
is,
implement that. Well,
with Games Windows Live
that's
being
true.
removed,
That would
is
be a
that
good thing,
going to change the way the mods work and stuff? Because I know there's like some issues people have with mods because it may conflict with the live service, like, you know.
I suspect that.
As far as I am aware, I don't think so. The only thing this really will affect is your achievements in Games Windows Live, not because they won't transfer over, and your save data. But I think they're working on a system to convert your save data, so that should be fine.
That should be good, yeah. That's a point, actually. If I lose my save data, I'm definitely not starting Dark Souls again.
Yes, you are.
No, honestly.
You'll be
I'm not.
tempted. The temptation's always there.
It's not really much of a temptation at the moment because I've been stuck on the same bit for so long, so...
Well, why do we even have you on this podcast if you're not going to be good
I'm
at
the
Dark
host.
Souls?
Maddragon.
You know,
He's the host.
you need to play Dark Souls more, otherwise we can't call this the Dark Souls cast, can we?
No, the problem is I
It's the
pick it up every
VGL
now
cast.
and then when I can, and I get sick of it after half an hour because I die like 3 or 4 times on the same spot that I have not
Do you know what
been
you
able to
could
get
do?
past yet.
You could go watch a certain LP that I may or may not have played.
As opposed to playing it, because I would do that.
Well, get some tips, isn't it? You know?
Or you could just download a trainer and like wall hack. Spawn in a
that's-
machine gun.
That's tempting, but also not really worth the time that it would involve. Oh yeah, that's just a side note. Anyone who was interested in buying Paranormal Activity, on the presumption that it doesn't get in, Tower of Guns is basically a better version of that game. So if you want to buy that, then
With a far less toxic developer. I've talked to him a few times on Twitter. He seems nice.
Yeah, there you go. Go get Tower of Guns. But anyway, yeah. Any further notes on Game for Windows Live dying? Because I mean, it's pretty much just good news all around. Save files may or
Resident
may
Evil
not be
5 needs
saved.
to get transferred, and
Yeah, there's a great
Lost
many
Planet
games to
2.
When is Games for Windows Live set to actually go offline?
I thought it happened months
apparently
ago, but obviously
never.
not.
They just keep
Yeah, they
bringing
said
it
that-
back. Phil
Yeah,
Spencer's like, "Oh no,
this
it's
is the
fine."
problem.
It's like, Phil, shut up. If you want us to love PC gaming, just kill it. Kill it.
So, what would happen to all the other games that don't get transferred to Steam as well when Windows Live
I'm not
actually
sure.
dies?
Well,
guess-
if you need
pirate
Games
it.
for Windows Live to sign in, and
there's
these
stuff
games
like-
don't have
I
any
know.
other kind of sign-in method, then presumably you wouldn't be able to
Like,
play
isn't
them.
it like Resident Evil 5, Lost Planet 2? I think those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head.
Fallout 3. Fallout 3,
Yeah.
you don't actually need Games Windows Live for that. They're not going to patch it out because like you can just play that without signing in or anything like
Yeah,
that.
some
so
games
it's
you
all
can
good.
play in offline mode, but I guess online games in particular that require games for Windows Live, obviously that's going to be a bit of an issue. But Super Street Fighter 4 Ultra, or Ultra Street Fighter 4 rather.
Well, that's going to
That's-
just use Steam, isn't it?
That's Steamworks
That's
now.
Steamworks now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's already been
So
Yeah,
transferred over.
that got
That's
switched
what I
over
mean.
with
Is
Arcade
that
Edition.
like more recent, I guess, multiplayer games have been transferred over. So I imagine
There's really
that
no reason to use Games Windows Live anymore. Steamworks is so much better.
There was never any reason to use Games for Windows Live.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like Steamworks is really cheap, has a tons of features. Everybody in the gaming community loves the fuck out of it. It's like, ugh.
Yep.
I don't get it.
And it prolongs the longevity of pretty much every game that has it.
Mm-hmm.
Video games live longer with mods. That's just true. Look at Mountain Blade and games like that have survived. And still
Look at Morrowind.
yeah, Morrowind.
It's like Skyrim, like, I've spent, God, how many, close to 90 hours,
97.
something like that. That's just on the tutorial area alone. That's just modding,
Yeah, I don't know how you haven't actually managed to finish the game.
I know, I haven't.
That's crazy.
I haven't finished any of the quest lines, haven't finished the main story or anything.
Wow,
It's
That's
just
an
mod
impressive
in the
commitment
game.
to doing nothing.
It's just like playing the game and like, you know, just doing whatever I want in it. It's not like doing any of the quest lines. That's like a scary thing though. I don't remember like spending 97 hours into it. Like,
Yeah, you can turn a 100-hour long
what
game
happens when
into
you
like
download
a
a bunch of nude mods.
500-hour long game. It's amazing.
jeez.
Yeah.
Maddragon
So-
and his Khajiit nude mods.
So yeah, this is good news for pretty much the entire community. Yeah, well done, everyone. And anyone who's interested in Dark Souls. That might not be anyone who listens to this podcast, but if not, why are you here?
Did any of you manage to like buy any gift copies of Dark Souls when it had a price glitch?
No.
It was like 67 cents.
I don't know.
no,
Oh wow, that's
lovely.
impressive. No, I don't even know who doesn't have Dark Souls at the moment. Like I bought it years ago. I
Vertigo
didn't
bought it
play
for
it for a
me.
long time. Oh, that's good. Anything we'd like to add to that story? It's pretty straightforward, really.
Die already.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Now that's an inanimate object. You can send an inanimate object death threats because it's an inanimate object. There's the line. Leaked footage of cancelled Battlefront 3 by Free Radical shown. So this is just leaked footage from a pre-alpha version of Star Wars Battlefront 3, which had been announced and then subsequently cancelled.
Yeah. This is like really old footage, and
Is it old?
You know.
I thought it was.
but it's not. I
Newly
mean, it's
released.
old footage of like the game, the pre-alpha
Oh.
and stuff. It's not like it's got nothing to do with the current Battlefront 3 that's being developed,
Yeah.
right?
This
No,
isn't being
and that
made
was
by DICE.
confusing when I first heard about the story. But no, this is not the upcoming Star Wars Battlefront 3, which is still a thing that isn't cancelled.
Because
And
they-
also
there's
doesn't
this-
look necessarily like what is on the thing.
I mean, I've watched the the video of it, and it's like it looked bad. I mean, I know it's pre-alpha, but it's still.
It basically looked like Battlefront 2 and didn't seem to have
Yeah.
any new features at all. The graphics weren't. Didn't seem to be at all in any way better. But I don't. Yeah, I agree. I don't see what it seemed to be offering.
And this was for like the 360 PS3 like generation, wasn't it, of consoles? This was supposed to be.
Was it?
dealt-
I thought it was for Wii. Fuck.
Was it? A Wii?
Well, this is 2012.
Okay. Yeah. Never mind. I guess because of the graphics, I just assumed it was for Wii.
The graphics are about on a par with the PS2 version of Battlefront 2, from what, Battlefront 1 maybe, but then this is
maybe
pre-alpha.
GameCube.
This is
It
pre-alpha.
looks a bit GameCube-y.
Hey,
we
GameCube
have
is
to
a beast.
we have to give it some we have to give it some leeway on grounds of the fact that it's pre-alpha. So this was never the best gonna be the best, most polished version of that. It's not going to give a good account of itself on that. But even then, like it didn't look like it was moving towards a final product that looked like any kind of significant improvement on the previous iterations of the Star Wars Battlefront games. It looked the same
yeah.
to me.
It didn't look like it. The actual the gameplay of it didn't look that. I don't know how to describe it. Good, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because obviously he's
But
playing
pretty
by
clunky.
himself, and even the AI hadn't really been programmed in. But I'm glad it's in new hands because it might freshen it up, which is apparently what this needed, because this didn't look like something that was gonna add much to it. It looked as though it looks like something stagnating, to be honest. It's not. It doesn't impress me in any way. There's nothing that I could look at and say, "Oh, that's different from the other games." It's the same map, same character model, same vehicles, same objectives.
As someone who hasn't played Battlefront 1 or 2 or watched any of the Star Wars original movies, I was actually
Oh yeah, that's true.
I was watching the alpha footage and I thought it actually looked pretty impressive, but I guess that's because I'm so new to it. So yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are positive on it, but to me, it looks the same as Battlefront 2, which was a terrific game. I loved that
For
game.
the time.
I played. No,
But if you
genuinely,
wanted
I
more
loved that
Battlefront
game.
2, you just play Battlefront 2.
No, I mean, you're saying it looks a lot like Battlefront 2. I mean, for the time, that was like a good game, like, but
Oh right, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
what they had of, what the cancelled Battlefront 3, maybe it just wasn't like, it hadn't come along as the technology had like advanced and stuff,
Yeah,
maybe that's why
I mean,
they scrapped it, because it's like the...
maybe because they, were just running out of ideas, but it seems surprising considering how little extra funding it would require to reuse all of these assets.
Well, it was LucasArts back then.
Oh yeah, of course, LucasArts. Who
alas.
bust. So yeah. But honestly, I know people are enthusiastic about this, and I just answered the poll on the page where this has been linked, and most people said they would play it, and it looked good. But
lying.
But this is what. But to me, it looks exactly the same as Battlefront 2. The same like missions and
So in
weapons
Battlefront
and
2,
characters.
did they have as much missing textures?
Let me rephrase that. It looks as though it was going to be developed into the same game as Battlefront 2 was. Obviously, Battlefront 2 is vastly superior to the pre-alpha Battlefront 3 that was cancelled.
All this sort of stuff, though, it just makes me more excited to play the proper
super
Battlefront
looking
3.
forward to Battlefront 3
because I've never played any of the series. I know what they are like. I mean, it's the multiplayer focused sort of thing as well, isn't it?
I'm interested in them, but it's by EA, which means it's going to use Origin, which means I'll have to download Origin to play it.
Well, you get it on PS4. That's the solution to that.
No, I'll get it on Wii U.
Yeah, or Wii U.
Speaking of
Wii
U,
either or, as long as it's not Xbox One or Xbone.
Of the Wii U.
Moving on, yes.
Apparently this is a major story. Playboy and Nintendo team up in order to advertise Bayonetta 2's release.
No,
Did you check out the gallery, IceBear?
Wow.
Yes, I did. Can you take the lead on this one? This is kind of your story.
Go, Raven, go.
Well, it's
Maddragon,
Playboy's story. But...
Yeah, this is totally
Okay,
Raven's.
so Bayonetta 2 is getting released, or has been...
You cut out there, Raven.
Playboy and Nintendo are
again.
teaming up to advertise it. I don't know. Just really, that's it.
It seems very, very strange to think of Nintendo doing this sort of thing.
Yeah,
It really does.
if you remember, a few years ago, they were actually sending out cease and desists for to the Suicide Girls who did something relating to Metroid, I think. So for them to turn around from sending cease and desist to porn companies to advertising with them is kind of funny.
That is strange. Yeah. And
Well,
slightly
that's
hypocritical of Nintendo. Yeah, okay, well, yeah.
I just would like to say, damn, Bayonetta looks weird when she's, has realistic proportions.
Yeah, because in the game she's
she's 7 feet tall.
Yeah, legs are huge.
She should be a basketball player.
I mean,
Bayonetta 1, in the Chapter 1 cutscene, I think, that guy has his broken car and she's just got her legs through the window because her legs are that long. It's always been crazy how, tall and crazy the proportions are of Bayonetta. So going to, an actual human being, it's a bit, whoa. A bit odd.
Which would presumably only been marginally exaggerated. Anything else to add on that? I mean, this is going to be a short podcast. Jesus. Oh, okay.
It's a good advertisement,
It's strange. Well, which audience are they trying to target with it? That's the thing.
Because Nintendo with Bayonetta 2, it's a mature game. It's a, and this is Nintendo's sort of attempt to draw in a more mature, hardcore audience.
Oh, I see. So that would be why they've gone for that particular advertisement campaign.
Maybe.
Well, it's still better than. It's still a lot better than Sin to Win kind of marketing, I guess.
The thing is with this sort of
marketing?
Sin to Win. It was a promo on Dante's Inferno done by EA.
Oh, fucking! Oh,
yeah.
I remember what you mean now.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
EA,
Nothing. What
EA's
happened?
marketing
You had to
Remember
get the
your-
phone number of female attendants at the they were representatives of EA at some gaming expo in order to
Remember
win
the
prizes.
fucking Dead Space 2 one? Your mom will hate this.
Oh,
God, I hate
yeah.
EA's advertising.
Yeah. So.
EA.
Yeah.
Silly EA.
Didn't they hire fake protesters for Dante's Inferno?
They did also do that.
Oh, god damn it.
Yep, that was all an episode of Extra Credits, I think.
Yeah.
Which we should probably link. Go ahead, Maddragon.
Right, you know the thing with this, it's like Bayonetta, 1 and 2. There's some people who have issues with the whole like sexuality and over sexualized sort of like character of Bayonetta and stuff, right? This is definitely not going to be doing any favors, really, is it? This advertisement with Playboy,
I think it helps reinforce the fact that Bayonetta isn't like a very sexualized character, because like the most like looking at her in that outfit, like that's not a very revealing outfit. That's like actually a pretty tame cosplay, and it's from Playboy.
Well, yeah, until you get to like the 10th one in or whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, when she removes her costume, that's when it starts getting interesting.
This is a gallery on the Playboy website, which is kind of dedicated to that kind of thing anyway. I guess isn't strictly a Nintendo thing. I don't know if Nintendo are featuring that particular shot or not.
Yeah. But it's just like, I don't like. Okay, so does anyone here find like Bayonetta attractive? Because I don't.
You don't?
Do you?
I don't kind of carry that kind of attachment to video game characters.
Okay, so imagine if Bayonetta, in her 7-foot-tall glory, walked up to you in real life.
I would feel intimidated.
Would you find her attractive?
No, I would immediately adopt an inferiority complex irrationally based on my lackluster height.
But like, I just don't see how. I don't know. I just never really saw Bayonetta as like a sexualized character. Like, she acts all sexual and stuff like that. But I've always found it was more played for laughs than anything else.
That was the argument, wasn't it? There was the counter argument was that it was a female character that was confident about her sexuality, not a female character that had been sexualized because of the amount of agency that she has in the sort of thing. She's not like just exposition or just a romantic subplot. She is the main character. I hear people say that, like, oh, she's intended for like the male gaze, and it's like, I don't know anyone who actually finds her attractive. They're like, she looks more alien than anything else, like with her legs that are as long as some normal human females, and like her tiny head in proportion to the rest of her body. And it's just like, who is this? It's like, that's I would assume that anybody who plays Bayonetta, because of like an attraction to the character model for Bayonetta, probably doesn't have consistent internet access. So I think it's unlikely. I agree that that there is some point where sexualization. I mean, I've done a sodding playthrough of Ride to Hell Retribution. There is countless places where sexualization of female characters is like, female characters are explicitly sexualized and just used for that purpose.
Are any of them 7 foot tall?
No, and that's kind of not the purpose of Bayonetta either. Well, presumably, I'm not that familiar with it. It's a shame that we don't have Vertigo here to talk about it. But yeah, I don't really know what the Playboy advertisement campaign signifies either way, whether or not it's.
It is just odd, for Nintendo to be.
Yeah, it's a strange move by Nintendo, certainly.
I wouldn't really necessarily
maybe it's
say
just them and their inexperience on how to advertise mature titles. Because I mean, like with Mario Kart 8, they advertised it by giving toys to McDonald's. So they're like, okay, so Mario Kart 8 and McDonald's, Bayonetta and Playboy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. The thing is, though, Nintendo doesn't really have huge mature audience to go for, I mean, most people, most gamers and stuff, when you think Nintendo, they think of Mario, they think of it's
kid friendly.
Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah, no one thinks of stuff like Resident Evil or anything like that,
which is a shame because
Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube.
Yeah, Resident Evil Remake, Resi 0, Resi 4. When I think of those, I think of Nintendo. I think of the GameCube. First thing when I think of Resi 4.
What I think is, goddammit, Capcom, why did you make your game so shit later on?
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
Then he starts drinking.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, it's it seems like a strange move. I'm not sure if it was. It doesn't seem to be like a defense of what the game's being criticized for so much as it is a pretty I guess they're going for a pretty simple angle on a marketing campaign to a mature audience there, which isn't. I wouldn't have thought is the kind of thing that works, considering that that's the sort of thing that really dubious-looking MMOs use on shady websites.
Well, Witcher 2 did it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did a Triss Marigold Playboy issue. That the pictures they took for the Playboy issue actually come free with the GOG version of Witcher 2.
Oh, okay. Well, that's red. What you call them?
They're in-game renders, by the way.
Oh, okay. That is strange.
Polish people love their Witcher.
What kind of thing is this being released as? I mean, it says that Nintendo teams up with them. Does that mean that they just approved this, or is this how is this part of the advertising campaign? Because this is linked to the actual Playboy page where this
Pamela
features.
Horton, the playmate, she was also there at the Nintendo World Conference or whatever thing earlier. She was also there advertising Bayonetta 2. So this isn't the first time that she's been dressed up as Bayonetta.
No, and it's certainly not wrong to say that she can't advertise that game, I suppose.
But but I mean so this is an ongoing partnership because she was there at the official thing.
Yeah, so I guess
she didn't take off her top or anything like that.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is I'm coming to the realization that it's unfair to say that this person can't market this game if they want to. I guess there's nothing explicitly offensive about it.
Yeah. It's a nice cosplay,
provided it's not smushed in front of people's faces and Oh? Hello?
Hello?
Did anything go weird then?
No.
Okay, both my monitors went black and then came... Oh, the display driver stopped responding and has recovered. Oh, Jesus. Alright, let's move on quickly.
That's overheating, I think.
Yeah, I know. No, actually, it's really cool. The case is cool to the touch. Sorry, probably sounded loud when I was
that only
leaning
ever
forward.
happened to me when I always had my heater on and the cards would overheat.
I think NVIDIA does need an update, so maybe that's something to do with it. Anyway, let's move on, seeing as my computer could be dying. We don't know.
Back to Bayonetta.
Feel free to leave comments or input on the anything so far and anything in the future. Anyway, Australian servers have been added to World of Warcraft.
About time.
Now,
still haven't
I know
played
that Maddragon is a big exponent of Australia, so you should probably take the lead on this one.
Australia gets servers on World of Warcraft. How long?
What's Australia like, Maddragon?
It's
Yeah, what is it like, Maddragon?
I don't know. It's pretty shit.
How's the weather?
It's a bit too hot. There's too many killer bugs and shit on you. But okay.
That's interesting. And what sort of footwear do you wear over there?
Pumps, really, most of the time.
Pumps?
Yeah, the bit.
Crocodile skin, because of the crocodiles that you had to hunt to get them.
We wear Crocs,
Oh, Crocs.
Crocs. Made of crocodile skin.
As it should be.
Yeah. This seems odd, though. I mean, how many years has World of Warcraft been going on for?
10.
And only now Australia's getting servers?
That surprises me. I mean, I was talking to Raven about it. I mean, Raven doesn't really have much of a say in this, but I was talking to Raven about it earlier, and I was saying considering that their user base is flagging that it's kind of strange that they never thought to tap markets of presumably hundreds of thousands of people that they could potentially reach. Well, that's an exaggeration, but hundreds of thousands of people who could potentially consider buying the game. Would you agree that there is how many gamers are there in Australia, Raven? I don't know why you would know. But
there's at least one.
A handful. I mean,
handful.
Yeah,
12.
Not that little.
That's why the internet was created. It just runs between those 12 people's houses.
There's a decent amount. Maybe you need 2 hands to hold them all. But,
enough to warrant, presumably, situating some servers there, because at this point, does it really, how difficult is it for them to set up servers there? Did they have it for any of their other titles? Did they have it for Hearthstone or anything else?
I am not a big Blizzard fan, to be honest. So
well, no. And again, Vertigo, wherefore art thou?
The perfect person to talk about an MMO sort of thing.
Oh, actually, wherefore art thou? Vertigo is why are you Vertigo? Yeah.
Wow.
Thing.
You
It's
messed
often
up.
it's misinterpreted as.
It's
as,
okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We forgive you.
Yeah.
You're allowed to stay on the
No,
podcast.
I done goofed on my Shakespeare. No. All right. So it'd be interesting to see what how this turns out. I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to see like a TV
consider
report.
playing it now because I still haven't ever.
Well,
I would love to see like an economic report of workplace productivity in Australia just plummeting because everyone's playing World of Warcraft.
I
Everyone's
can't really
rating.
see this making much of a difference because I mean, it's like, people playing World of Warcraft are already playing. It's just they're on a overseas like server. Like,
I think
what would it be like?
So I'm looking at this from outside in because I haven't played it, but I think it's kind of a good idea that they decided to release the Australian servers alongside a big content update.
Yeah.
They've got the new expansion coming out soon, so they'll get tons of new players coming back because of the content update, and then they'll have all the people talking about World of Warcraft playing and posting images of it and such, and then that might get more Australians into it, so it might work.
And also, Australian infrastructure, internet-wise, is not particularly, it's not the best. So
It's
connecting
really
to foreign servers as opposed to, well, more
then it's
local servers is definitely preferable.
See, like, if people want to play World of Warcraft, they're already going to be playing it, and I mean, there's not going to be much like extra like player base from it. I don't think, just from adding servers. But then the people who are, are they going to be able to like, transfer over? Well, obviously they can transfer servers, but are they going to have like any sort of, like promotion for like transfer to transfer to your local servers or something for free? It's like a one-time thing or something. I don't know.
Maybe
That would be pretty good.
would be good.
Because otherwise,
And Blizzard is
you gotta pay
normally
like
pretty good with that stuff. Like, remember when Diablo 3 came out and it was kind of terrible, and now Diablo 3 is actually pretty damn good. So they're generally, pretty good about the whole not shitting on the customer.
Yeah,
I say
so,
that
I mean, this is good for consumers in Australia, basically. I mean, yeah, okay, it's maybe not going to have a massive impact for
everyone else.
Yeah, but it's certainly not bad news.
Yeah.
A decent amount of good news, in fact. The games for Windows Live going away, Australian servers for World of Warcraft.
Bayonetta 2 cosplay from Playboy.
Well,
yeah.
Okay. Well, look,
very good news.
There's all sorts in the world that's news. I've been your host. Anyway, God, to think that you used to do this, Raven. How easy is this? All of these things are news. All of those items were. Thank you to audience for listening.
Thank you, audience.
Smile and wave. Oh no, wait, this is
smile and wave.
Waving.
Smile and wave. Yeah. Cheers, audience. Do feel free to
continue listening.
Yeah, continue listening as we carry on. We haven't finished yet. All right. Shout out to projects you're working on or want people to know about, or mention them here.
Which order are we going in?
Surprise announcement order. Maddragon 249.
Yes, go to my channel, look at stuff. Maybe, hopefully, I'll have new stuff soon. Maybe. I don't know. I'm too busy playing.
How about glowing an endorsement do you need, viewers of VGL, before you will finally look at Maddragon's content?
Well, it's like, lately I've been quite, like, in a bit of a slump when it comes to, like, doing YouTube stuff. I mean, busy working
I've noticed
stuff
the
like
lack
that.
of Dark Souls.
Well, I finished Dark Souls 2. Last upload was 9th of October. It is now the 26th.
I was referring to more to the VGL thing, which you've uploaded like
3
months ago.
Yeah, there's that I could do. And we
3 months.
We could do more of Dark Souls.
3-month slump.
Well, it's not all my fault entirely.
It's all your fault entirely.
Well, if I do record some and then upload it, it's still going to be other people's fault when we can't all get together at the same time.
Well,
see? This is a team effort.
That will happen
Raven.
later, but as of right now, it's still all your fault entirely for not recording it.
Yeah, I could play some. I may play some Yeah.
You should.
I just need
You should do
like
it, or
a
I'll
little bit of motivation.
You.
What?
If you do it, I'll give you a nice rub on your belly, boy. Aye.
Ravenval 95.
Jimmy.
Shout out to
Jimmy.
projects you're working on. I want people to know about besides Maddragon's stomach.
Oh wow. Jimmy.
My Legend of Korra review. I spent
Oh,
a lot
yes,
of
of
time
course.
Yes,
working on
shout
that.
out to that.
Which
yeah.
the first mention of this entire episode, as far as
Yeah.
I recall or care to recall.
Yeah. I rewrote that. That's my longest. Like, I started writing it, rewrote it, and it's now my longest review of all time with 1,700 words.
Like I gotta say, I think that
Definitely
turned out
checking it.
pretty good. You know.
Thank you.
It
Thank you.
It did.
Mwah.
Okay.
I guess it's just me then. Oh, I started a new Let's Play with Raven over there. We're starting a Borderlands 2 Let's Play, which you can see on this channel, and also Sharky and the Bear. Either or.
Yep.
Cool.
Although, if you do watch this and then go watch on Sharky and the Bear, you are technically taking traffic away from the thing that we're working on right now. So, think about that.
You're stealing money from small children in India.
That's basically what you're doing. Anything of Vertigo's that we feel like we want to endorse right now?
His
Or
Extra
just-
Life charity thing? Oh, wait, no, I don't think you can donate
jeez.
to that anymore. Because
Can you
he
not?
met his goal.
Oh, he met his goal. So.
Yeah, he
Well,
met his goal of
congratulations to
$300 for charity, which is... I think we should all clap for Vertigo.
Well, I'm not going to clap because it might mess with the audio. But congratulations to Vertigo on completing a 24-hour stream at which he raised $300 for charity.
That's pretty nice.
Yes, well done.
Yeah.
That's
He's
pretty
a
good. Like achievement.
He's a good
there.
man.
And you can check out his channel for other content once he recovers. Which is to say, all the time, because he uploads like 3 videos a day anyway. That sounded damning. That was good. Anyway, thank you. Thank you for watching. See you around. Get out. Now get out. Scram. Go.